Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm Nina from Kids Knits and today is all about this candy corn beanie. I'm going to be showing you how to make this from start to finish. As always, my tutorials are beginner friendly. However, you do need some prior knowledge in knitting in order to make this pattern. If you want to try to do this as a complete beginner, I do suggest you go back and watch my how to cast on video. I will put that right here just so you can see what it looks like, and then maybe work your way up to knitting something like this. It's actually very easy, even though we have our 3 color changes. I'm going to show you how to seamlessly color change, and we'll go over how to make a pom-pom, all that good stuff. This tutorial is for the adult small size, but the pattern itself does come in 7 different sizes. You can find that in my Etsy shop. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. As always, we're going to get into materials that we need first. So for this pattern, we will need a pair of scissors, a darning needle for weaving in our ends, a stitch marker. I'm using this cutie little pumpkin one, an XL pom-pom maker if you want to make a pom-pom. And we're going to need 2 sets of knitting needles, or if you have interchangeable, those work as well, but we're going to need a 9mm 16-inch circular knitting needle and a 10mm 16-inch circular knitting needle. For our yarn, we are using Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick in the colors Fisherman, Pumpkin, and Mustard. To begin, we want to use our yellow colored yarn or our mustard yarn, the 9mm knitting needles, and grab your stitch marker. We're going to cast on using the long tail cast on method for this one. I'm going to cast on 42 stitches. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys how that's looking. Now everyone has their own way of doing this, but if you count your stitches around and you have 42 perfectly, I'm going to get you to cast on 1 more stitch so that there's actually 43 on here. And what that's going to do is just make it easier for us to join, to knit in the round and have the actual amount that we need. So whenever I'm casting on, my slip knot that I make first actually doesn't count as a stitch. So if you counted how many stitches were on here, I would have 43. Now I'm ready to join in the round. So I'm going to slip that first stitch onto my right needle, use my left needle to get underneath the second stitch now that's on here, and pull that over, drop it off, tighten it up a little bit. Now I perfectly have 42 stitches and I'm ready to knit in the round. You can place your stitch marker to mark the beginning there. And to begin, we are going to knit 1 and purl 1 for 7 rounds total. So just knitting 1 and purling 1 all the way around. And that will make our brim. So go ahead and do that. Knit 1, purl 1 for 7 rounds. And when you're all done, you can meet me back here to go on to the next step. Here is what we are looking like after we've knit all those brim stitches, so our 7 rounds of knit 1, purl 1. At this point, you can go ahead and remove your stitch marker. Unless you have interchangeable needles, keep it on there. So if you do have interchangeable, change out your needles to the 10mm size. Otherwise, if you're working with 2 different sets like me, we're just going to go ahead and knit every single stitch off and onto our new set. So let's knit this first round here onto the larger size needles. No more purling for these rounds, just simply knitting each stitch. All right, we can remove our 9mm needles, set them to the side, and now we're all ready to continue on those 10mm needles. Place your stitch marker back onto your needles there, and we're going to knit 5 more rounds with this mustard color. So go ahead and knit your 5 rounds. Make sure you're keeping track of those, and I will meet you guys back here once all of those rounds are ready. Alright, so that completes a total of 6 rounds for the body of the hat here. This will be the brim, this is the body. So after we've done rounds 1 to 7 of the brim, we then knit those rounds 8 to 13 of this body section of the hat. And now we're ready to change colors to the pumpkin yarn. Leave a decent length tail. I'm going to cut mine about here, so this long. Nothing crazy. And I'm going to set my mustard yarn aside and grab the pumpkin color. This is a fresh skein. I'm going to do a nice little center pole. Now, whenever I'm working a color change, I always find it a little bit easier just to remove my stitch marker for the time being. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to grab this new working yarn, maybe with that much of a tail, about the same size tail as what we cut for the mustard yarn. And I'm going to loop that around my finger, and I'm just going to insert my needle into the next stitch as if I were to knit it as normal, and I'm going to wrap the new color around it, pull that through. And then what I'm going to do is actually take these 2 tails here and wrap them over my working yarn so that when I knit the next stitch, I'm kind of locking these colors in, and I'm just going to knit as normal. And for round 14, we are just going to knit every single stitch with this new color. I'm going to speed this up here just so you guys don't have to painstakingly watch this part, and I will meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so I'm coming up to these last stitches here. I'm just going to knit them all as normal. And I'm just going to make sure I tug on this color a little bit just to make it a little bit tighter. I'm going to place my stitch marker back on. And in order to create a seamless color change between these two, I'm actually going to lift up the right leg of this stitch below our orange stitch here, and I'm going to put that onto my needles like so. Then I'm just going to knit these 2 together. So I'm going to insert through both of those stitches, wrap the yarn around, and knit them off together, and that's going to give us a more seamless color change. So for the next 8 rows, or 8 rounds, you're going to just knit all of those stitches. So continue to knit in the round for 8 more rounds, and I will see you guys back here at the end of round 22. Here we are back at the end of round 22, and it's time to change our yarn again. So I'm gonna get rid of my stitch marker temporarily, cut a little tail from my orange yarn, and grab the Fisherman color, so our last color change. Again, I'm just going to get ready to knit that next color exactly how we did when we switched from mustard to pumpkin. Insert my needle, wrap the new yarn around, knit that one off, and then again I'm going to bring these 2 tails over and knit the next stitch. And I'm going to knit every stitch around for round 23. And I'm going to speed this up just like I did last time so that I can show you guys that jogless seam one more time. So I'll see you once we've knit this first round of Fisherman. Okay, so pull that orange yarn nice and tight again so we can tighten up this stitch. And you are going to place your stitch marker back on. Lift up that right leg from the stitch below, place it onto your needles, and knit those two together. And then we're just going to continue knitting every single stitch for 6 more rounds total. So I will meet you guys back here after that, and that will be the end of round 29. So knit, 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 knit until we get 6 more rounds done. We are at the end of round 29, and it's time to start our decreases. So we are going to knit 1 and then knit 2 together all the way around, which should leave us with 28 stitches at the end. So knit 1 and knit 2 together. Knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1 and knit 2 together. So you're going to keep doing that all the way around until you reach the end. Again, I'm just going to play mine in fast forward, and I will meet you guys at the end of this round. Alright, so we have 28 stitches left on our needles, and we're going to decrease just a little bit more. So this time we're going to knit 2, so 1, 2, and then knit 2 together, and this will give us 21 stitches. So knit 1, 2, and knit 2 together. And we're going to do that all the way around. So knit 1, 2, and knit 2 together. 1, 2, knit 2 together. If you find you need to, pull your needle out, go ahead and do that if it's getting too tight, or you could switch to DPNs, whatever you prefer. I usually just do the magic loop kind of method, but I'm going to continue that all the way around, and I'll see you guys there at the end. Okay, I just finished my last stitch of round 31. I can get rid of my stitch marker now, and this is how our hat should be looking. We are ready to fasten off by cutting this yarn. Leave a decent sized tail for sewing around the remaining loops. I'm going to do maybe this much. I think that's good. Grab your darning needle and go ahead and thread that. And then you're just gonna start taking those stitches off. So go ahead and do that all the way around until all of those stitches are off of your needles and onto this yarn. Once all your stitches are on there, you're just going to pull tight. I like to sew around a couple more times just to really make sure everything's secure. So weaving in and through those stitches until the top closes up nice and tight. Then you're just going to drop your needle down through the center of the hat. Pull that out and tie a knot in here. Go underneath some of those stitches and tie a little knot to secure that tail. And you can cut that just a little bit there. I'd also recommend at this point going ahead and weaving in these ends as well. So what I like to do to weave in those ends, I'm gonna go through here. I think I'm going to go up one more. So I'm in that orange section for the orange tail. And I'm going to follow these bumps here in the direction. So I'm going to go over this one and I'm going to go down those two. And then I'm going to follow that curve, which means I'm going to go into this one and back into this one here. Not pulling too tight. Then I'm going to follow that curve, so I'm going to go here and here, and then follow this curve, so go up into this one and this one. And just do that until you're happy with how your tail is hidden. Cut it a little bit shorter. And you're going to do that for all of those remaining tails. Don't forget to weave in the tail end of our cast iron as well. And then we're going to go ahead and make our pom-pom. Now you could totally leave your hat just like this and have it without a pom-pom. I just love that it adds a little bit more extra pop of white up at the top and kind of completes the hat a little bit more. So for this one I'm using this XL, I believe this is the XL size, I bought these so long ago, XL pom-pom maker from Clover. I got my pack at Michael's, but I think you can get them anywhere. I will link one in the description as well. You're going to grab your Fisherman yarn, and I do not know if this is the proper way to use this pom-pom maker or not. This is just how I do it. I secure and wrap that tail on there, and then I literally just wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap until I am happy with it. So I'm going to speed this part up and I will show you how full I actually wrap this. Okay, so I'm happy with this. I like it a little bit fuller. What I do is I pull the yarn through this piece here, and then I just open up the next prong and I keep going because it all kind of gets cut anyways. And then I'm going to wrap all around this second one. So again, I'm going to speed this up and then you guys can see. So both sides are clamped down. I'm going to cut this one right here. And then I'm just going to start trimming through the center. Now, my scissors are super old and I have used them for things other than cutting fiber. So mine don't cut very well anymore. But you definitely want a really good pair of scissors for cutting through, especially super bulky yarn. Okay, I'm going to cut that little strand as well. And then I'm just going to keep cutting the second section. This would probably be cute too if you did a mix of yarns as well, like a little bit of the orange and the mustard color in the pom-pom too. That would be really cute. Okay, so now that everything is trimmed up from here, I am going to cut another length of yarn and bring that down through the center of this pom-pom maker and out the other side. Again, this is just the way I do it. I like to do like a little double twist on this one and pull super tight, but not too tight that you would break the yarn. However, I don't know if you could break this yarn. Pull it up and out to the other side and do the same thing. Do another double knot. And then one more time for good measure to the other side. Now we can open this up. And your pom-pom might look a little funky, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this. I'm definitely going to trim some off of the sides here and just even it out all together, and I'll come back when that's all done. Right, that's good enough for me. I'm not going to go crazy with trimming this to perfection because I don't have the time. Next we are going to just attach that. So thread your darning needle with both of those. Find a spot that's kind of secure for your pom-pom to go through. Pull it down, do the same thing on the other side. You're just gonna tie a knot to fasten that off and secure it in place. I like to double knot it just to be safe. Make sure you're pulling really tight on that one. Trim those ends. I don't know where my scissors went, so I'll trim mine later. And you're all done. That's your candy corn beanie. And there you have it. You're all done your very own candy corn beanie. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful as always. If you did enjoy it, like, subscribe, comment, do all of the things. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.